Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. And if you're new here, I'm Jim. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm an On1 Photo Raw 2022. And I've got a landscape from Colorado that I'm converting to a monochrome. And you may know if you've been here before, I love color and big colors and stuff, but sometimes monochrome just feels right. You know what I mean? And it's one of the things I like about monochromes is you can just kind of push those pixels around, and it's just a dramatic monochrome. It's not a over-the-top, highly saturated color photo. Anyway, here's the image, and I've done nothing to it. I'm going to start with AI Auto. Honestly, just does a great job. I mean, that's exactly what it looked like, to be honest. That was me standing at this Mola's Pass, I think it's called, outside of Durango, Colorado. Anyway, there it is, one click, and so I'm already pretty happy, but of course, I'm going to make this a monochrome, so I'm going to start in Effects, and I'm going to go over here to black and white, choose that, and I am going to change this to the channel mixer. And what I did is I found as I was moving these around, you can see that it has a huge impact on the photo. I ended up going all the way to 360 in the channel mixer setting. So black and white, and it converted it not just to monochrome, but also with this channel mixer. As you can see, it does have an impact on how the photo looks. So that was my next step, just to kind of get the base thing kind of going. And then I went in and added tone enhancer. So one of the things I wanted to do here is isolate the sky and the foreground. So I'm just going to go invert. I'm going to get AI quick mask. I'm going to keep the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and make that green. There we go. And I'm going to drop the sky. So I'm going to come in, and I like to do a, not a fast job, but not a real slow job either. I find that AI quick mask is pretty accurate most of the time. So I give it some information, and then I hit apply and let it figure it out. It builds a mask, it renders it, and then in a couple of moments you have basically a perfect mask. I just love that. It's just a great tool. So there we go. If I click view on the mask, you can see there's white reveals, black conceals, as you know. So what I've done here is I wanted to brighten the foreground a little bit. So let me close the masking. I'm going to move this up to about a 45, and contrast is actually going to 100. I'm going for a bit of a dramatic monochrome here, so I'm going to push these sliders, in some cases, fairly far. I'm going to pull the whites down, pull the shadows down as well. Blacks are coming down slightly, and the detail is going to go up a little bit. I'm going to go to an 11 or so on the detail, and I'm also taking clarity to about 20. There we go. It's definitely popping. If I show you the before and after for this foreground, there it is before, and there it is after. Quite a bit crunchy, a bit dramatic, higher contrast. That's basically the look I'm going for. So I'm going to copy this mask because you can do that easily in On1, and I'm going to go ahead and add tone enhancer one more time. And as you can imagine, I'm going to paste the mask and invert it. So paste and invert. So now my mask is applying to the sky, which is what I want to do next. And what I'm going to do here is drop the exposure a little bit. So about 0.75. I'm going to contrast of 100. I know it sounds like a lot. Shadows, negative 100. And whites and blacks, I'm going to bump a little bit up on the whites. That's keeping a little bit of that bright color in the clouds. And the blacks, I'm going to take down a negative 30. So there we go, a bit of a dramatic sky. If you look at the before, you can see, the blue sky was kind of gray, and now it's black, right? So these edits had a huge impact on the sky, which is, of course, what they were designed to do. So I've already got this sky mask. I'm just going to copy that because I'm going to use it again, and I'm going to go in and add dramatic or dynamic contrast. I'm going to go ahead and paste that mask so it's just applying to the sky, and then I'm going to go ahead and just drop the settings here simply because that's just something I like. And I think I go to about a negative 50 or so on all of them. So we'll just get somewhere in that range. Doesn't have to be exact, but there you go. Basically, use that mask for the sky and isolated that so that I could just soften it up a little bit. I tend to like softer skies, so that's just a personal preference, but there it is before, and there it is now, a little bit softer. And the only thing left to do really is to make a little bit of a global adjustment. And to do that, I'm going to use the local adjustment tab. I'm going to come in here and invert the mask so it's white, and I'm going to close the masking menu, reset the exposure to 0. So basically, this is going to apply everywhere, and I've inverted the mask so that it will apply everywhere. I'm going to lift the exposure a little bit so that it's a slightly brighter photo. I'm going to pull the highlights back slightly because they're, I don't want them to get too bright, so I'm going a little bit left on that, and I'm pulling up the midtones a little bit as well. Maybe something about like that gives me a little bit more visibility into the foreground. And then I'm also bringing up the shadows a slight bit as well. So maybe like a 3 or something. And so this local adjustment, which I'm using globally because I inverted the mask and did not mask it in anywhere. So whenever it's all white, white reveals, black conceals. So these edits are being revealed across the entire photo, but there it is before that local adjustment, and there it is after. So it had a huge impact on the photo. And in fact, I actually might pull the highlights down slightly more, just because some of those highlights in the distant horizon just above the peaks were getting a little bit too bright. And I actually think I'm going to pull the exposure down to 0.1 instead of 0.15. Anyway, that's how it worked. That was the full edit. So there's the before and after for that local adjustment. And let me give you the before and after for the entire photo. There it is before, and here it is as a really dramatic, kind of over-the-top monochrome. But I like it a lot. I mean, it's crunchy in the hills and in the foreground and in the trees where I want the crunch. It's softer in the sky, but I'm able to brighten the foreground quite a bit. There you go, as well as add that crunch. And the sky, I basically created a really dark, dramatic sky with the white, puffy clouds. There it is before, and there it is after. It's just fun, powerful, on one. Just gives you so much control. I love doing it. Anyway, that's my edit today, my friends. Just wanted to walk through that. Thought it might give you some ideas about how you can apply these ideas to your own photos. Thanks for watching, my friends. I'll be back soon with more On One stuff. Thumbs up if you like it. Leave me a comment if there's anything else you want me to talk about in On One. I'll be back soon. You guys take care of yourselves, and until then, adios.